My name is Paul Dalzell. I am the worship coordinator of this, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charleston. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome all of you, our members, our friends, and if this is your first time here, we welcome you and thank you for joining us. Here, you will find a community of people, all very different, yet all united in the shared values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all with love at the center, who will help you find what you are looking for this morning, and I hope in your lives. Many of us have found just that here in Unitarian Universalism. Please join us in singing our welcome song. We sing it through twice. And if you feel comfortable doing so, greet those around you with a smile, a nod, or a hello. The words are in your order of service and on the screens, hopefully.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
I'm going to begin with a reading entitled Theology of Love by D.C. Fortune that I identify with. My theology understands humanity as simultaneously fragile and resilient, weak and strong, greedy and generous, mean and compassionate. I see the divine spark in the tension between those opposites. I see the divine in the generosity of those who often have the least to give, in kindness offered by those who would arguably have the most reason to be bitter. The divine is like love in this regard, irrational, unexpected, and beautiful. Please do check your insert for goings-on here at UUC this coming week and in the near future. And for our chalice lighting this morning, we have Love Remains the Center by Eric Hepburn. Please read it in unison with me as Maria lights our chalice. We light this flame to remind us love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love remains the center. When the light of truth burns all else away, love. Sorry. Our first song for all is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Please rise in voice, body, and spirit as you are willing and able. The lyrics will be on the screens.
Love will guide us,
Peace will tide us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
if you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
We come to this sanctuary, whether in person or virtually, to connect with our community, sharing our joys, our celebrations, our sorrows, our concerns, our peace, and our needs helps our community become closer and stronger. And that is the community we all need in these times. Now, interestingly, there's apparently, we used up all of our joy on Christmas, and there are no concerns written in the book today. And I usually come up with a couple myself, and did not this time. So, okay, share joy, Mike.
The Indian restaurant, the Sakanashis were there, the Gerards were there, Zika pulled us together, and I think that was it, and I was there. Oh, Bob was there too.
Nice,
So,
good.
it was good.
Good. For all the joys and sorrows, both spoken and unspoken, may we remember shared joy is multiplied and shared sadness is diminished. Please join me in reading in unison our covenant to each other. Love is the spirit of our faith, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our meditation today is A Centering Practice by Lauren Wyeth. Let's take a few moments to settle in and get centered now. I invite you to get as comfortable as you are able. You may want to stretch or adjust how you're seated or shake out a little tension. Whatever you need, just try to give yourself a little bit more physical comfort if that's possible. And now, I invite you to notice, if it feels okay, to pay attention to your body for a little bit, to notice a place inside you that feels like a center. And just breathe with your attention there, if you'd like. You might notice the presence of love in this center. See if it's there and breathe into it. With each in-breath, notice love at the center. And then I invite you to notice the edge of the out-breath. Noticing love at the center of each in-breath, and then noticing the outer edge of each breath as you release. You might bring your attention to your own edges, finding a boundary that marks the edge of you. Perhaps it's your skin. Maybe it's a bubble of energy surrounding you. Perhaps it's somewhere inside, closer to your center. Wherever you find that boundary is okay. breathing in and noticing the center. Breathing out and noticing the boundary. You can play with this practice, breathing, noticing what happens with your center and your edges as you stay with them and give them your attention. Sometimes our boundaries want to be pulled in close for protection. Sometimes they want to be big and spacious and roomy. Both needs are real and deserve our respect. As you attend to your center and your edges now, you might use your breath to help mark the boundary that is right-sized for this moment. Take a few breaths there. And when you're ready, I invite you to come back to our shared space and to notice again who is here with you. Each of us an individual with their own center and boundaries. Each one part of this larger collection of beloved companions. All of us part of the larger whole with love at the center. We are so glad you are here. A couple of years ago, I talked about my struggles with the concept of love. I talked about the various kinds of love and our service about Joni Mitchell, Both Sides Now. I mentioned that, like Joni, I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusion that I recall. I really don't know love at all. I also spoke of those struggles a few weeks later in a sermon entitled God Ain't Love. In that one also, we discussed the 7 different kinds of love identified by the ancient Greeks. Eros, which is sexual passion. Philia, which is deep friendship. Ludus, which is playful love. Agape, love for everyone. Pragma, long-standing love. Philantia, love of the self. And Storge, familiar love, family love. The kinds of love the UUA Article 2 Study Commission said is at the center of our shared values are agape and philantia, the love of everyone and the love of self. Philantia can take 2 forms. It can be a positive self-love or an unhealthy negative self-love. The positive form is a foundation for other loves. The Greeks believed you must love yourself first to truly love others. That includes taking care of your needs, having pride in your work, and maintaining a positive inner dialogue, and having a belief in your own value, interdependent of external validation. Unhealthy philantia, negative self-love, can take the form of narcissism, an arrogant, self-centered, and egomaniacal view where one believes they are superior, and selfishness, a destructive focus on personal gain at the expense of others. The latter might remind you of someone who just slapped their name on the Kennedy Center of the Performing Arts. We're not here to discuss him, are we? We're talking about love. Agape is a Greek word for the selfless, unconditional, and sacrificial love, often described as the highest form of love. Its key characteristics are that it is unconditional and selfless. It's giving love that asks for nothing back, even from those who can't repay it. Sacrificial. It involves being willing to give up for others. And it's action-oriented. It's expressed through deeds and choices to seek the well-being of others. It's not just an emotion. In an article titled "What Brings Us Together? Love as a Common Theological Core" from January 13th, 2001, the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Association shared this reflection on love, which, along with the charge to the Article 2 Study Commission, the Article 2 Study Commission shares it with you with an invitation to reflect on how love shapes you in your communal life. In calling for this commission to root itself in a shared core theological value, we, the board, are asking the question, what is it that lies behind all the statements of principles that we agree to as our common associational points of covenant? What lies beneath the principles on which a commission can re-envision and re-articulate the ideas that are expressed currently in our existing principles and include, potentially, other ideas put forth to be considered for that restated covenant? Asserting that there is such a commonality is bold. It potentially flies in the face of the Commission on Appraisal's 2005 report, Engaging Our Theological Diversity, which failed to identify such a core in its conclusion. We hold that that commission did not fail to identify that core, only to recognize it at the time as our theological core. In its report, it cites Robert Miller's study on Unitarian Universalism, stating, UUs rank loving as an instrumental value and mature love as a terminal value more highly than did respondents from other groups, religious and non-religious. UUs were more likely, even before 2005, to assert the importance of love than any other group, religious or non-religious. And this was before the campaign now known as Side of Love began. Since that time, we have seen and heard expressions of love and displays of love in action by UUs. We assert that our deepest common theological grounding and value is this: love. We find it peeking through the words of the currently existing principles. We see it in our insistence on the worth and dignity of every person, and the calls by some that this insistence needs to extend to other beings as well. We see it in the call for demanding and embodying justice, equity, compassion in human relations. We hear it in our urging for acceptance of one another and our support of each person's spiritual growth. We discern an accountable love and the call for the responsible search for truth and meaning. Our affirmation of conscience and the right of each individual to participate in shaping those institutions that govern them displays a deep respect and love for every person. We hold up the goal of a peaceful, free, and just world community as an expression of what love can and should bring into being. We believe that our call to respect the interdependent web that we are all a part of is an articulation of love for all that is and in our own place and role in that web. We see love calling out as what demands that we be active in our justice work and justice making. We note that our hymnals contain many assertions of what we aspire to and what love can do and be. Let's build a home where love can dwell. Love will guide us, and we are answering the call of love among them. We respond to the call of love because it is our common theological core. It is what can and does motivate us and illuminates our deepest commitments to each other. There, in the Article 2 Study Commission's own words, is the reason they decided to make love the center of our shared values. Because it is, and it has been. It has been central to our 7 or 8 principles, and is why, when I list our shared values at the beginning of almost every worship service, I end with, all centered around love. That, I think, explains agape, love, in our faith. As we try to live by these principles, as we hold our 6 shared values in our hearts and minds, we are living in the highest form of love. Excuse me. How can we do this in our daily lives? For an explanation, I give you some excerpts from Nancy Combs Morgan's January 31st, 2003 article, Love at the Center. She writes, I was rereading some of James Luther Adams' work over our winter break and was inspired and thankfully reminded of his emphasis on the role of freely choosing community. Then, in reading their regional lead, Natalie Briscoe's blog post from January, What If I'm Not Ready? It further led me to a reflection on the role of love and faithful relationships in our lives. Let's begin with Adams for this reflection. All relations between persons ought ideally to rest on mutual free consent and not on coercion. We freely choose to enter into relationships with one another. What a precious gift to feel that deeply connected to others with a sense of agency, mutuality, and consent. There's so much in our lives, and especially in the last few years, where our sense of control and agency have been taken from us. Yet, as we emerge from the horrors of COVID-19 and all of the other challenges in our greater world, we can discover and even practice with one another a sense of promise and anticipation of the difference it makes to have loving relationships at the center of our lives. with an intent to recenter ourselves in the going forward. And yes, we are called to go toward a greater tomorrow as Unitarian Universalists, which does put love, covenant, and Unitarian Universalist values at the center, can be a source of tremendous comfort and even strength. By gently leaning into community and fostering deepened and faithful relationships with people of all ages, there is a potential to encounter what James Luther Adams described as a convicted awareness that the resources, divine and human, that are available for the achievement of meaningful change justify an attitude of ultimate optimism, hope. My hope for those of you seeking a greater connection in your community is that you take the time to reflect on the wisdom from James Luther Adams. We have before us a time of great opportunity and purpose in Unitarian Universalism, which depends on each of us to put love with deepened and renewed relationships at the center of our lives. Again, to feel connected to others with a sense of agency, mutuality, and consent. To feel in the here and now that there is a community which does put love, covenant, and Unitarian Universalist values at the center. And by gently leaning into that community and fostering deepened and faithful relationships, we can become aware that we can achieve an attitude of ultimate optimism, hope. My goal is that these words help you bring hope into our lives, that you can feel unconditional, selfless, sacrificial, action-oriented love for everyone and all beings. Now the hard one for me, philantia, the love of self. For this, I give you an anonymous piece from a UU recovery post. Love is for everyone, including us. Unitarian Universalism is a faith focused on love, but it often feels easier to extend that love to others rather than ourselves. With love at the center of our Universalist heritage, it is a wonder that so many of us think of ourselves as unworthy of love. This love is for everyone, including us. For those of us who grew up in homes with addiction or dysfunction, it was hard to know if we were loved. Our parents struggled to show their love, and truthfully were incapable of giving us love at many points in their lives. Growing up in this environment, we internalized that our lives did not matter, and that we were inherently flawed. Our goal is to keep love at the center of our lives by acting compassionately toward ourselves and others. Our call is to consider our actions with a forgiving spirit, even and especially those that we cannot seem to shake or to forget. This is hard work. We cannot undo a lifetime's worth of messages in a few days, but we can begin with forgiving ourselves. We can take that deep breath and remind ourselves that we are beloved one day at a time. In conclusion, I leave you with this affirmation by Etzer Herbert. It's not always easy to find love at the center. It's not always easy to find love at the center. There is not a set of easy instructions numbered 1 through 7, or maybe 8. It's not always easy to find love at the center. Today, in Covenant, we celebrate our living tradition, which invites us to take deep breaths of fresh air into the newness of every day, so our minds, hearts, and spirits will be continually nourished. It's not always easy to find love at the center. So, for today, we gather in Covenant to celebrate the reality that love is at the core of our beings, and that love will guide us if we open ourselves to the challenges which love requires of us. May we accept this challenge with dignity and grace. May it be so. Our closing words today are "Love Remains the Center" by Eric Hepburn. Please read them in unison as I extinguish the challenge. We extinguish this flame
to remind us, love is the center. As we explore and rest, engage and heal, love remains the center. When all we can see is cold ashes, love remains.